back to my Sim Cockpit playlist. I have made a couple of recent editions which I'm sorry, but I did not really film the process of making all of that as I did with the Aston Martin wheel, but nevertheless I want to show you what I have done basically. This here, some of you might know what that is. These are the paddle shifters, the original paddle shifters for G25 or G327, I think they're the same, only I covered them in carbon fiber vinyl. Oh yeah, you can see the original surface. The only problem they have, or let's start with this. I have shown you this in my Sim Cockpit video. This is my paddle shifter unit with a separate quick release in there and longer paddle shifters. That's the main problem of the original paddle shifters. If you want to use bigger wheels, they're just not long enough. But this is how they compare. The next ones I used were these here. They're from Derek Spear. This is the original design. I think he has changed that in the meantime to metal ones, because these are from, yeah, I think it's the same material which you make circuit boards of, and it's quite flexible. That's the problem with them. Apart from that, they work. In case you wonder, here, these little cutouts, I need them to make my to make room for the bolts of the whole assembly. So recently I ordered another set of custom paddle shifters from eBay. I don't remember the name of the of the shop, but I will link it in the description, because mainly I can't recommend it. I can't recommend these paddle shifters. They are made from aluminium, but a very soft and flexible one. I mean, it's like almost like, yeah, the stuff that you let kids play with to build something. Because I mean, I won't demonstrate it here because I have bent them into the correct shape for now, but when I pull quite hard here, I can actually bend the whole thing. It's so soft. And also the screws inside, which go into these holes here, I mean, they are threaded in these parts, and I ruined the threads in no time with just a little bit of force. I used different screws, and now they hold up, and I had to even use here a nut at one point. Yeah, I won't show you this thing from the inside, unfortunately, because it's been a pain in the ass to assemble it. Mainly because it's really tight in there, and until recently I had these paddle shifters and the two buttons that they operate, as I said, from it's part of the original G25. Take these quick release parts here away and you have the mid piece of the G25. Only I dremeled huge bits away, and yeah. And I've added, as usual, I've added the VGA connector and the two switches which are inside have of course 4 wires, and these are 4 pins. I have connected them to 4 pins of the VGA connector. But with my recent modification, the Aston Martin wheel, which of course also has buttons, and I somehow, if I want to use the wheel with this paddle shifter unit in between, I need to route all the buttons, or basically I need to route the wiring through this hub here. So I had to add another VGA connector on this side, and all 15 pins, no sorry, only 10 pins. Yeah, 10 pins are connected. I didn't connect the 4 pins or 5 when it's not connected, when it's not mapped. The 4 pins for the paddle shifters, because I probably probably won't need these pins when I connect. Anyway, so 10 pins routed through from one connector to the other, and there's a bunch of wires in there, and it's really tight, but I made it work. It's working. So this is one part. As I said, the pedal shifters, I probably won't stick with them. Maybe I'll try, as I mentioned, Derek Spear. I think by now he has changed his pedal shifters to metal, and maybe I'll try some of these. We'll see. But the main star of this episode here is something completely different. It's this here. In the Aston Martin videos I showed you my red, you remember my red 300mm. It's actually originally it's a kart wheel with which I did most of my races in GT cars. I had basically some leftover, some parts were left over from my Aston Martin modification, and I thought, why not I do a huge modification to that red wheel, and let's try this. So this is first of all, as you see, I cut away the upper part here and just put some, these are caps from from spray things, just normal plastic caps. I cut them in size and glued them on top of the ends, because the ends of course weren't really pretty. And surprisingly, although I cut a huge part away, because also here I had to cut, of course, this thing here, it's really rigid. It doesn't flex at all. So yeah, short little cut here. I had to, well, although I cut away a considerable part of the wheel, it's still very rigid. No flexing at all. Then I had a little piece of carbon fiber plate, which I didn't use, and out of this I made a button plate, as you can see. It's slightly too thin. That I have to admit that it's only 1mm in thickness, and I glued a second plate, little piece down here to make it a bit more rigid, but it flexes a little bit. But I can live with that. It's not super strong, but I mean, as you can see, when I push here, it moves a tiny bit, but no big deal. Yeah, that's basically it. I cut it into shape and added a couple of buttons, 12 all in all, because these here are also push buttons, and yeah, added some spacers here, and one of my usual quick release parts, and a VGA connector. Oh yeah, electronics. This is a Leo Bodnar BU0836 little USB controller board. It could do more. I could connect analog inputs, but I won't do that probably on the wheel. Maybe for clutch levers, yeah. So 12 buttons basically. Standard USB A to B cable, which I stripped the plastic off to basically to make this shorter here, and this is directly connected to the connector, to the VGA connector. Yeah, that's basically it. The buttons are sort of high quality for once. They are, can't remember. And not super cheap ones. Maybe I'll I'll remember to put the specifications in the description. They're not Knitter or what's the other brand? I think they are APEM. I'm not sure. Yeah, I haven't driven a single lap with this wheel yet. I'll probably use this for the new Corvette Daytona prototype, not sure, or of course other cars too. It's just another GT wheel or a GT prototype sort of thing. I just think it looks nice, and as I said, I had the wheel already and some parts. I just wanted to use them, so I can of course use it with the pedal shifter, like all of my wheels actually. Of course it doesn't work quite. It's a bit tight in here with all the wiring, but yeah, this is how they look when they are connected. Everything works. Super happy with that. So I'll probably show you a couple of nicer pictures, and that's basically it for this video. Again, I'm sorry I didn't film me making this, but I had to be a little bit quicker when I made this, and yeah, maybe next time. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.